also had access to this presentation. So this is like the agenda for today. We already did the introductions. Again, welcome. Thank you for being here. Listen to the class on communications in planning at Texas A&M in the planning department and what they have been doing in this class during this semester. I will have G give a background because there has been previous work with previous classes with Texas Target Communities and AgriLife, and also the urban planning program. So she will be talking about all that great work that has happened before. I will talk about I'm the professor of the class, Ibis Garcia. I will talk about some of the engagement activities that we did for this class, and then we will have student presentations in where they will talk about each one of the chapters of the Liberty County strategic plan update. And in these chapters, they will talk about what have been the previous proposals. So it will be at least one slide of like what actually the plan says, so you get familiar with that. And then the following slides will be about what we heard from the public. And obviously in here, we will hear about a lot about the things that are being planned, are things that people validated as things that they might need, and there might be like some new concerns as well. And then we will have some time for Q&A and figure it out what will be the next steps. And so I like to invite G to talk about the background.
Thank you, Ibis, and good morning, everyone. I am Juwasni Papa, Program Coordinator for Texas Target Communities Program. And I know most of you have been part of our conversations and meetings earlier, so this is more of a recap to remind you what we're doing. So we have a long partnership with Liberty County starting in 2015, where we partnered with the county and created a county steering committee to create the strategic plan 2016. That is the existing strategic plan that you must have seen earlier. This plan was meant to be a long-range plan that looks at the planning horizon for about 20 years, thinking about the future. So creating a document that communicates a community vision and also gives a direction for the county to make decisions on investment, so justifying county decision making, and also a document that can be used for new funding opportunities and grants. And this is a living document, so since we completed it in 2016, we were back again with the county to update this document. So all the effort that has been done now is for this update of the 2016 plan. I did get some emails, people asking me about where they can find this old plan. The old plan is still relevant, is being updated, but you can find this old plan online whenever you type Liberty County Strategic Plan. And the work that we'll be doing is building on that old plan, thinking about what has changed, what are some new priorities, and adding all of that as recommendations for this update. And let me go next slide. So part of this update, some things we thought needed to be addressed in this new plan was health. That was missing in the old plan. Some of the newer growth that is happening in the county, those were earlier discussions with the county that needs to be part of this plan. So to do that, we had 2 planning course in spring semester, spring 2023, and 1 engineering course, a total of 20 students who worked on looking at the existing conditions, things that have changed in the last 7 years, coming up with some goals and ideas, and a draft action plan. And to do that, they had 7 meetings. If you want to go to the next slide, these meetings were basically public meetings, core team or your community stakeholder meetings, meetings with steering committee, We did some surveys. We had an online platform called Social Pinpoint where we collected a lot of feedback, and students using all of these feedback and the research work that they're doing on the data and the best practices in planning came up with some draft recommendations. And once the draft recommendation was done, the county identified we probably need more community engagement because there are a lot of stakeholders who are not part of these conversations, and we still need them to give us their feedback. So to do that, we had this class that you'll hear today that just took up the public outreach and engagement part. You're going to hear about the process, but basically they took the draft recommendations and had conversations with you all, and some of you were part of that. And today they're coming up with, what they heard, what has been the recommendations, what has been the discussions, what they've heard. And the next step for us after this will be finalizing some of those recommendations. So before we go more further on the recommendations, I'll let Yves talk about the outreach process and you'll hear from the students.
Well, thank you, G, for that background. So the students went to Liberty County this semester in 4 times. So the first time was on September 27, and there was an activity that many of you participated with the Liberty County steering committee for this plan. And there we discuss what the plan has proposed, and then hear from you directly of some of the conversations that you are also having with constituents in the community. Then on the same date, we went to different places in the community, high school, the senior center, also clinics, business spaces, and did some tabling. So it looks like the picture here in where students presented what they knew about the plan, encourage people to go online and give us comments, or give us comments in person as well, in various forms, from sticky notes to note cards that we had. We also went to the Cleveland ISD Town Hall meeting, and these are just spaces that we knew that people were there, and it's just great events to take advantage of listening more, especially about health. That was one of the new chapters that we wanted to get more information from. We also, one of the goals was to outreach more of the Hispanic and Latino community. So an event that we found a lot of families. It was in the trunk or treat. And that was, again, an excellent way to also connecting with families and many immigrant families. And so in terms of the engagement techniques, we have these postcards, again, with information about the plan, some posters that we put in different places in the community. And part of the idea is just inform the general public that we have this plan, and we did this in a bilingual manner. And then we wanted for the people in the community to also learn about something about the different chapters. So we have made sheets that basically summarize what are the goals and the objectives and some of the recommendations, as people often are interested in a topic, in particularly thinking about transportation or thinking about housing. And we will talk to them in more detail about what was in the plan. Of course, part of it is listening to them about these different topics, but we really try to focus here on the health chapter, and also in the community facilities, which was an existing chapter, but more needed to be developed. So we created additional feedback for these chapters. And then on October 30th, we did a World Cafe, in where we had tables for each chapter, and we have members of the community and also people from the steering committee join to have discussions more focused in each one of these chapters, rotating from table to table. And now you will hear from the students. Basically, the first slides is going to be what the plan currently says, what are some of the recommendations, and the next slides are going to be about what we heard from community members. And the students, they're in pairs, but if your team had an additional person, please introduce that person as well, so the people can know who worked on this.
Hi, hello everyone, good morning. I'm Connor Ford, and I'm going to be presenting the beginning of development considerations. I also have Kirti and Farzana on my team. So with development considerations, we thought it was fitting that it was at the beginning because development really ties into all these other sections, whether it's transportation or housing. And at the current level, the strategic plan really revolves around fostering unity and holistic management. So we considered things like economic, agricultural, social, and environmental values within this development considerations section. A cornerstone of the plan involves connecting residents with organizations to create that cohesive community. It calls for programs to enhance the collaboration between organizations and individuals, especially in this context regarding the management of land. So the first goal was really to strengthen the community bonds. They aim to do that through all those different values, but harnessing them into development initiatives. They wanted the plan to serve as a catalyst for improved communication and coordination, fostering that sense of shared responsibility. The second goal was to make sure that in Liberty County, there's safe, sustainable, and resilient development. We understand that that's imperative. There's a need for lots of new residential development, and it's at a really formative part for this county's history because there's a lot of development going on, but we also need to make sure that that's done safely, especially when it comes to developments in the floodplain. So this plan came up with a regulatory framework that included flood-proofing measures, regarding specifications for type of materials, elevation requirements, and a drainage system. Additionally, we talked about options for assisting landowners in that floodplain, reducing the physical vulnerability of their homes. In conclusion, this community development plan for Liberty County is not just a blueprint for the development consideration growth, but it's a commitment to unity, sustainability, and resilience in the county. I think that the development considerations piece really ties in nicely with what all the other groups will talk about, but really it comes down to ensuring safe and sustainable and affordable development practices, creating a community that's thriving, balancing economics, agriculture, social, and the environmental aspects.
So the comments we received highlights the need for both the community unity and sustainable development, which are the following overarching goals of the plan, as Connor definitely stated that. The first quote in the slide emphasizes the importance of strengthening the community bonds by fostering a sense of responsibility. For example, paying taxes. People also mentioned that the desire to develop what already exists, aligning with the goal of goal of safe, sustainable, and resilient development. The second quote highlights the need for more entertainment and natural areas, which can contribute to the community bonding and a sense of well-being as well as sustainable development. The third quote mentions the issue of development, annexation the city to avoid restrictions, which indicate a lack of community and collaboration. As proposed, the annual program to improve the inter-organizational collaborations regarding different parcels of land could be a way to promote communication and coordination among stakeholders. Lastly, the quote addresses several important issues, including the need to protect wetlands, providing affordable housing, health services, among many other urgent needs, while also keeping in mind the cost, including taxes, low.
All right, howdy and good morning, everyone. My name is Caroline, and I'm one half of the housing group. My partner Subani is going to cover the things that we heard back from the community after me, but I'm really quickly going to run with you what we have already in the plan. So in the housing chapter of Liberty County's plan, the first goal really involves increasing the range of housing options in Liberty County, specifically the desire to increase the amount of multifamily and single family homes. Then there's also a desire to improve the quality as well as the amount of senior living in the county to generally improve the quality of life for the aging population in Liberty. And lastly, this goal covers the idea of integrating alternative housing types like tiny homes and ADUs or accessory dwelling units. So the second goal in this plan is about encouraging the quality of housing through methods like building standard codes in the county, as well as the resilience of the housing stock against hazards like flooding, for example. The third goal concerns affordable housing and reducing the cost burden for low-income families in Liberty County. This will involve strategies to get the home buyer education programs in place for residents, as well with rental assistance programs to inform them about their resources and their pathways to homeownership. The last goal is about effectively managing growth in the county by concentrating density around the existing urban areas and steering new construction into areas with lower hazard exposure, like the flooding, for example, and providing financial incentives for building these homes in safer areas to ensure resilient and productive communities for the county. Now I'm going to hand it over to Subin.
Yes, thank you. And I was going to talk about the community outreach. So during the community outreach, residents voiced their desire to enhance the quality and conditions of housing in Liberty County. They discussed the county tackling issues like abandoned properties while prioritizing the safety of Section 8 homes. There was also a want to address code enforcement with an added emphasis on educating instead of punishing the public about inspections. Another recurring theme was establishing a district dedicated to improving housing standards and implementing development regulations. It was widely agreed upon that constructing any more houses near wetlands should be avoided. In terms of housing options, there was a demand for affordable choices. The aim is to discourage speculation from investors outside the state and ensure that more single housing family homes or cottages are priced below $200,000. Additionally, there is interest in age-restricted and ADA-compliant housing for the older adults. Lastly, there was a call for establishing a shelter and transitional housing facility to assist individuals experiencing homelessness. The goals outlined in the plan align with the concerns and desires expressed by the community, such as enhancing housing quality, addressing affordability challenges, protecting the environment, and providing support for vulnerable populations. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Maya Mahdavi and I'm going to explain the transportation, the previous and current recommendation, and my partner Elizabeth will cover the new recommendation for transportation. As you can see, the first goal is to improve the overall transportation safety. The strategies proposed are to reduce vehicle crashes by improving signage and widening the roads where overtaking is common. And the other strategy is to improve the pedestrian safety by decreasing the hazard around the sidewalks and implementing a countywide safe routes to school program. The second goal is to provide the sustainable transportation options. This can be accomplished by widening and working with the widening the roads and working with the Brazos Transit District to provide more bus access and also work to achieve higher quality of services for passengers. And another strategy for this goal is to improve the current bicycle trail by incorporating with the HGAC bikeway viewer and the TxDOT bicycle tourism trail, and also additionally improving the sidewalk and trails to ensure that they are complete, adequate, and safe for all users. The third transportation goal is to provide a higher quality road system in the county. The proposed strategies are including updating the maintenance schedule for county maintained road to be more comprehensive and realistic. Also to make road improvement that can be easily ease congestion and also throughout the county, and finally to ensure that all county jurisdicts roads are built to high standard from onset by updating the current subdivision ordinance and working with municipalities to establish comprehensive road design guidelines. And for the next slide. You can see the currently proposed road improvement locations on this map. And also these improvements include widening roads to increase the capacity where incorporate extending and connecting the roads to provide better accessibility to the system, and also building grade separation at Union Pacific Rail Crossing and at SH 321 and SH 105 to relieve the congestion at those intersections. I'm going to hand the presentation to Elizabeth. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Elizabeth. So I'll be going over the comments. Looking at some of the feedback that we received, there were some themes we identified in our transportation comments. The first of which being very sidewalk heavy. There were many comments that indicated a desire for new or improved sidewalks. For example, one of the comments pointed out that there's no sidewalk that makes it accessible for members in a wheelchair. There were also comments that wanted to see more done about the current road capacity, increasing roads from like 2 to 4 lanes, except such as 1010 to be widened to 4 lanes. Next slide, please. So another theme that was identified was the limited or non-existent transit service to connect people to services and amenities. Like this comment that says improving the bus route, but particularly information about how and where to take the bus, where it goes, and if it goes to the places I like to go, like the senior center, Catholic church, or by restaurants. Another, next slide, please. And our last major theme that we came on was the lack of options to help meet the needs of vulnerable populations in the community, particularly seniors. For example, we had a comment that was, we need more ways to engage with senior residents in places like the senior resident center, but more people need to know about the services provided here. Driving is hard for older adults, so they just stay home. And that was a very common theme of residents, and older residents in particular, not having the ability to get where they need to go and thusly feeling isolated. Next, I will be passing it to the economic development team. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Melissa Hatton, and my partner in this project is Cole, and we studied the economic development chapter of the strategic plan update. The plan's key goals in the economic development chapter focused on 3 areas of development. We had industrial, commercial, and workforce development. For industrial development, the plan update contained ideas for attracting and incubating the manufacturing industry, such as making the county a freight hub, expanding rail yards, and connecting warehouses. Another idea was to develop tourism centered around outdoor recreation, like parks, hunting and fishing, and agritourism. The next area is expanding commercial development. Some ideas in the plan update include supporting existing economic assets and encouraging grocers and businesses to expand into some of the underserved areas. This minimizes economic leakage, which is the local money being used elsewhere. The main idea is to keep your local money local. Some other ideas included identifying opportunities for retail, food service, and entertainment. Then last was workforce development. Some of the ideas included a proactive approach to improving job training to meet the needs of the near future industry needs. This would involve partnering with the Lone Star College, Lee College, Lamar's Engineering College, and then having satellite MBA programs on the weekends. On the same idea as education, the plan suggested to improve adult education opportunities by partnering with educational institutions and employers offering night school and peer tutoring for adults. One last idea was cultivating entrepreneurship through business classes and training. Home businesses and brick and mortar businesses alike will help keep your local money here. Now I will turn it over to my partner who will present what we heard from the residents during our public engagement. Take it away, Cole.
Awesome, thank you. People expressed their desire for expanded selection of stores catering to women's clothing, accessible bank branches, updated and larger grocery stores, and more attractive downtown areas. They also emphasized the importance of having a range of restaurants and retail establishments, as well as enhanced employment prospects. Some specific recommendations encompass the inclusion of a Home Depot, Kroger supermarket chain, modernized Walmart, and H-E-B outlet. Major retailers like Walmart, a hardware store, to Home Depot, in addition of a shopping mall. These requests are in line with the objectives of promoting growth and enhancing workforce as outlined in the plan. By attracting and nurturing businesses, we can broaden our range of shopping, dining, and retail options. This will contribute to reducing outflows by keeping money within the community. In terms of workforce development, enhancing job training programs, adult education initiatives, and fostering entrepreneurship will result in improved job prospects, offering wages and benefits. Ultimately, the plan seeks to cultivate a flourishing economy characterized by an array of businesses and abundant employment opportunities. And next, the next category will be environment, parks, and open spaces.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Alexander Hardy, and my partner is John, and we're going to be talking about the environment, parks, and open spaces. I just want to apologize. The device I'm on currently doesn't have a camera, so I can't show you what I look like. But yeah, so just to begin, one of the major takeaways from the environment, parks, and open spaces section was shifting the idea of those concepts into an asset towards enhancing the community. Because the environment gives us direct and indirect benefits to humans, whether that's through resources we accrue or just the community enjoying the aesthetics of nature through different recreation activities. So one of the first components mentioned in the plan was this idea of conservation. Conservation is encompassed in many different points throughout the chapter, some of which are the conservation of floodplains, wetlands, and various ecological habitats. There's a call to preserve these sensitive areas by converting them to conservative areas. An example of this previously mentioned in the plan is to conserve the floodplain. The idea is not to build in the floodplain, but rather preserve the area around floodplains, which in turn will reduce potential citizens' vulnerability to future flooding events. Additionally, connecting green spaces, greenways, and maintained parks is another component outlined in the chapter. And it's crucial to develop sustainably while encouraging or accommodating for ecotourism. There's several strategies outlined throughout this chapter to kind of stimulate connectivity. But furthermore, the plan encourages marketing to emphasize the importance of habitat conservation and outdoor recreation for future or nature-based tourism. Lastly, the chapter kind of outlines some educational programs to offer residents hands-on opportunities to see how responsible stewardship of natural resources is practiced at the community level. Environmental education engages the residents to think critically about their challenges community faces and can additionally help preserve the heritage in the community. So next, I want to hand it off to John, who will be presenting some of the comments and recommendations.
Hello guys, I'm John. Initially, when engaging with the public and other stakeholders, many people were surprised by the fact that the strategic plan touched on the environment, parks, and open spaces chapter. One of the first things that was brought up was that new development actually caused for the destruction of the ecosystem. Some citizens pointed out that trees are being cut down, and there was a call to stop deforestation. One resident even recommended to us that trees need to keep up with the development. So there's a call to preserve or even plant more trees as developments are branching out throughout the county. Also, another thing that we heard was that people talked about their love of using parks, open spaces, and even the surrounding rivers. It was noted that in these spaces, particularly the existing parks, that they were poorly maintained. Another thing that we saw was from one of the members from the Rotary Club, whom we received the comment where the San Jacinto River was nearby, but the area was restricted. They pointed out that if they developed the area a bit to be used as a recreational space, it would be a hit for not just the citizens, but could be a reason for people to visit Liberty. This concept, as previously mentioned, is ecotourism. Many of the residents want the lakes and rivers to serve as a focal point of Liberty County's tourist attraction, which can, in a sense, will boost the economy. Lastly, there was talk about flooding in the area. There has been a call for better drainage and even stopping the development of within the floodplains. One stakeholder even brought up at one of our meetings that while talking to another stakeholder that the environment can help mitigate the effects of flooding. This idea is called green infrastructure, meaning rather than building more retention ponds and ditches and pipes, there could be the use of trees and wetlands to help soak up the rainwater. Overall, the citizens do care about their environment, parks, and open spaces. They are very vocal in their concerns about developing more sustainably. On the next category will be the community facilities section.
Yes, hi guys. So my name's Laura Lee Gunn, and I worked with Noah Garcia in regards to the community facilities portion of our plan. And so I'm just going to dive into that a little bit. So here, as you can see, we have our actions organized by goals and then our focus areas for health facilities, broadband internet, and education. For sitting actions, we tried to focus a lot on identifying locations and inventorying for current services. And for funding actions, we realize that this requires adjusting current fund allocations and partnering with organizations or individuals in the county. But overall, this plan aims to address basically just the needs and challenges in each of these areas to hopefully improve the overall quality of life in Liberty County. We hope that by expanding emergency services and upgrading community and communication technology, we can ensure that residents in the eastern parts of Liberty County have more access to just timely and efficient emergency assistance. We really do think that this will help to improve the overall safety and well-being of the community. So the first goal in regards to internet access is really essential in Liberty County for boosting the economic development in the area and just altogether providing residents with opportunities for education and just other internet services. We thought that by conducting a more thorough inventory of coverage gaps and exploring cost-effective options, we can try to bridge the digital divide and ensure that all residents have access to internet and high-speed internet. We thought that by improving education is something that just has to happen in Liberty County due to it being crucial for the future success of the residents. We hope that by working with the cities to approve new bonds and just encouraging school districts to negotiate with developers for land, we can aim to create a more modern and well-equipped school system. The recruitment of community champions for bond approval committees will also help to garner support and ensure successful bond elections. Overall, this part of the plan, it really seeks to address the key areas of need in Liberty County with a focus highlighting on an emphasis on improving emergency services, expanding internet access, and enhancing educational opportunities. We really think that by implementing some of these initiatives, our plan can aim to create a better and more prosperous community for all residents. And I will now hand it off to Noah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Noah Garcia. I'll be talking about the community engagement for our community facilities section. So some of the themes that emerged from our community engagement were the challenges faced by older adults, including limited resources and a sense of isolation within the community. Many older adults expressed that there's a lack of awareness regarding the services for seniors, and frequently transportation difficulties were mentioned, which made it more difficult for older adults to access these services. Many also spoke about the increased demand for food pantries and support services among older adults and families, but particularly immigrant families. Participants revealed a strong desire within the community to have improved facilities that promote interaction and connectivity. So residents expressed their need for better places to engage with others, such as community centers or gathering spaces. Additionally, we talked about previously the demand for upgraded broadband internet and signal strength within the county. So getting 5G like everywhere within the county. And finally, we considered the growing population of youth that new high schools would be needed, of course, as including other elementary and middle schools to supplement. In addition, with the population growth, there's a need to enhance activities and resources for youth and children in particular. So there were specific suggestions by students that we talked to at the high school in Cleveland for things like a skate rink, a bowling alley, fitness facilities, swimming facilities, and baseball courts. Many spoke about after-school programs, including homework spaces where they would have access to free Wi-Fi so that they could do their schoolwork. In general, these themes demonstrated the community's needs and priorities and are in line with the goals of the plan to broaden internet access and improve opportunities within Liberty County. Next, I'll hand it over to health.
Hi, everyone. I am Taylor, and I will be speaking about the health chapter, and my partners were Cassidy Fielding and Will Muhammad. So I'll be speaking about the previous work that's been done on this chapter, even though it is a newer chapter. The three goals that were developed are an increased access to health-related food activities and resources countywide, 2, an increased access to health-related services countywide, and 3, promotion of a healthy relationship with the environment through hazard mitigation, active living, and green infrastructure. Each of these goals had actions to strive for as a county. As you can see on the screen, we have free workshops being offered, county nutrition plans, produce rescue programs, health departments, new clinic sites, crisis prevention teams, cleanup of water and soil, utilizing federal and state programs, expansion of parks and open spaces, and green infrastructure. And my partner will continue with what we've heard.
Hi, I'm Cassidy. So here are some of the things we heard upon tabling and discussion activities across various meetings. Some common themes we noticed were concerns of needing to deal with the mental health crisis, the need for specialized healthcare services such as women's health and pediatric care, and a need for general hospital improvement and expansion. Next slide, please. All right. Additionally, we can see the need for a connection between the health, transportation, and community facilities chapters. You can see here, as well as on the next slide, there were some mentions of the need for healthy food options as well as a food pantry. Next slide. So in general, the main needs that were vocalized can be summarized as a need for different or an improved resource, or the need for general education and distribution of an existing resource. So here I've separated the categories into a few common themes from the meeting, specifically in Dayton on October 30th that I was present for. The main categories here in no particular order include hospital expansion, as there's a need for improved hospitals and specialized services, as previously mentioned. Then drug and medication education, as well as mental health resources. Those are closely tied together, as progress or decline in one of these areas often correlates to progress or decline in the other. There are some opportunities for partnerships mentioned here as well, and the need for expansion of education on these topics in general. Then with the stray animal issue, a new topic, or sorry, a need for animal services and vet clinics was mentioned many times. Additionally, there's a need for healthy food options and a way to instill a healthier lifestyle from a young age, like implementing healthy eating and gardening programs into classes in schools.